This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 16th day of January in the year 2023. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. The finance minister went late with his budget presentation this evening, so here's what we know so far. The government of Guyana has budgeted $136.1 billion for the enhancement of a number of road and bridge networks across the country, including some $10.3 billion to accelerate the construction of the East Coast to East Bank road link from Ogle to Eccles. In presenting the national budget to the National Assembly today, the Minister of Finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, said the East Coast to East Bank road linkage marks the first phase of a four-lane highway intended ultimately to link the East Coast of the Marara to the Linden-Suslike Highway. Additionally, approximately $11.9 billion has been allocated to advance the construction of the Linden to Mabura Hill Road. He said works are ongoing on the first phase of the highway to link Linden to Latham. And noting that the government is also committed to linking major urban, rural and hinterland communities to provide easy, safe and reliable access and commute, the minister told the House that $27.7 billion has been allocated for the upgrading and widening of the Quarantine Highway from Palmyra to Crabwood Creek. Further, $16.6 billion has been allocated in this year's budget to upgrade the East Coast Railway Embankment Road into a four-lane highway from Sheriff Street to Orange-Nassau and continuing to the Mahaica River Bridge. Continuation of the upgrade of the East Coast Highway from Belfield to Orange-Nassau and construction of a second bridge across the Hope Canal.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say, but now that it's here, it will change life forever, and it is here to stay. The future is now, transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Giftland Office Max, we're all about customer satisfaction. Whether it's clothing and shoes for the ladies, gents, and kids, or for the latest electronics or hardware appliance, we're always thinking of satisfying you, our dear customers. Now you can shop online at www.giftlandofficemax.com or visit us at the Giftland Mall, where we're happy to serve each and every one of you.
Fina, how you could get yarning on today's pension day?
I collect my pension and went to the market since the 23rd.
How you mean?
I tell you, Levy switched to lodgement. Since me last book finished, I switched.
You join up a lodge? Was this lodgement?
The NIS lodgement system allows pensioners to get their pension into their bank account. The money is paid into the account by the 23rd of the month, so you could withdraw it whenever you like.
So wait, I ain't got to join no long line. Why you ain't tell me before?
Told you clear. When you go to submit your life certificate, ask them for the allotment application form. When you complete it and the bank verify it, then NIS is going to process it. After they process it, your money will be in your account.
Well, all right, I dine there now.
And don't forget, when you're carrying your life certificate, ask them for the lodgement application form.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Taking a look now at the performance of the local economy. Guyana's economy recorded a staggering 62.5% growth rate in 2022, with the traditional non-oil sector expanding by 11.5%. That's according to the Minister of Finance, Dr. Ashley Singh. In presenting his budget, the finance minister pointed out that while there has been positive growth in majority of the sectors, there has been some contractions in some sub-sectors. He said the global and regional factors must be taken into consideration, as Guyana was not immune to global economic shocks. Guyana has continued to record positive growth in the agriculture sector, which expanded by 11.9% last year, due to the positive performance in the rice and forestry sectors, which offset the whopping 18% contractions which occurred in the sugar and fishing industry. The rice sector grew by 8.5%, while there was flooding and other challenges, the minister said. The continued poor performance of the sugar industry was due to the 2021 flooding and other factors which were beyond the control of the sugar company, the minister said. Other crops, including Edo and similar products, expanded by 15%, while the production of milk and eggs took a dip. The mining and quarrying sectors, as well as the oil and gas sector, were the main drivers of the economy's positive economic growth, with the mining and quarrying sector recording a 109% growth rate, and the oil and gas sector recording a 124% growth rate, which was higher than was previously expected. Bauxite mining also saw a positive increase of 35%. While the government has boasted throughout the year of the country's gold reserve, the sector did not perform as expected and contracted by 2.5%, while diamond, sand and stone mining grew by 38.5%, and the manufacturing sector saw a growth rate of 22%. The services sector expanded by 9%, with wholesale and retail trade, financial insurance activities, as well as storage and transport activities performing well. While 2022 saw commendable growth, the Minister of Finance said that with a possible recession on the horizon, several sectors of the country's economy will see poor performances this year. Gold prices are projected to decline by 5% this year. The price of crude oil is also expected to take a hit to $83 per barrel, though it will be higher than the 5-year average. The problem-plagued Guyana Sugar Corporation, Guyana, will be given another shot in the arm as part of the government's recovery efforts for the sugar industry. The finance minister has announced the allocation of another $4 billion to support Guyana's field and factory operations in hopes of turning around the industry. This is despite the grim 2022 performance of the industry, which recorded double-digit contraction. For over a decade, Guyana has been operating at a loss, but billions of tax dollars continue to be pumped into the industry to bail it out of its financial woes. The finance minister, during his budget presentation today, said the government's commitment to the sugar industry remains intact. He said the administration has been proactive in focusing on reopening and recapitalizing the closed estates, as well as rationalizing cost structures. He also said the continued investments in the sugar industry will be undertaken with the ultimate objective of ensuring that each estate is able to be back up and running in the future. Dr. Singh said billions have already been expended to fields and factories to have them working again. Since taking office, he said over 1,400 sugar workers who were dismissed under the previous government have been re-employed. The sugar workers who received their severance pay under the previous government received additional cash support from the government last year. Last year also, the sugar industry produced 47,000 tons of sugar, falling short by more than 17,000 tons. Guyana also received over $10 billion in government funding last year. Of the 102 lifts of crude oil generated last year, 13 belonged to the government of Guyana. The Minister of Finance, Ashley Singh, made a disclosure today while presenting the national budget. He disclosed that $1 billion was injected into the Natural Resource Fund from Profit Oil, $510.2 million from the Lease of Destiny, and $588 million from Lease of Unity. He said Profit Oil receipts in 2022 corresponds to 11 government lifts, as remaining 2 would be received this month. According to a notification of receipts laid in the National Assembly today, $88.9 million in petroleum revenue was paid into the Natural Resource Fund on the 7th of October for a lift of Profit Oil executed on the 8th of September from the Lease of Unity FPSO. while another $89.1 million was injected into the fund based on a lift conducted on the 7th of October from Lazy Unity. 2 additional injections were made to the tune of $87.9 million and $83.8 million for lifts conducted in October and November. The government also received royalty payments. According to the finance minister, the government received a total of $155.2 million in royalty payments from Exxon and its co-venturers. The royalties are paid on a quarterly basis. He told the National Assembly that in keeping with the Natural Resource Fund Act, $607.7 million was withdrawn from the fund to finance national development priorities in the 2022 budget. Prime Minister Mark Phillips has disclosed that the ExxonMobil subsidiary Esso Exploration and Production Guyana Limited is funding the construction of the pipeline for the gas ashore project at a cost of $1 billion. And that cost is coming from Cost Oil. Prime Minister Phillips said in his written response to a series of questions posed by Opposition Member of Parliament Walter Lawrence. Last December, the government signed a $759 million contract with CH4 Linsaka for the construction of a gas ashore project at Wales. However, according to the Prime Minister, that cost did not include the pipeline cost. He said the pipeline cost is $1 billion, which includes the entire pipeline, enabling works, contingencies, and supervision by Exxon for infrastructural development. It was also explained that the engineering, procurement, and construction costs $759 million for the 300 megawatt power plant and the natural gas liquids plant also does not include a supervision contract of $23 million. According to the Prime Minister, while the government is funding the EPC costs through the national budget over a multi-year period up to 2025, it will be required to repay the oil company over a 20-year period. He said when the project is completed, government will make an annual payment to the company, its co-venturers, over a 20-year period to recover the cost of their investment. The Prime Minister noted too that while the government looks to fund the EPC costs through the national budget, it also expects to fund a portion from loan financing to be pursued this year. Well, the government is looking to have a single prison in the country based at Lusiknan on the east coast of Demerara, removing the traditional holding centers at Bergdam and New Amsterdam. Vice President Barbara Jagdeo made that announcement during a Department of Public Information interview this past weekend. In the interview, Mr. Jagdeo said the government has made provisions to further expand the Lusiknan prison to ensure greater capacity. The move, he noted, is to have a single prison.
It's known already that we said we want to make Lusiknan an area where we'd house all of our prisoners. You know, you saw the conditions people were living there. They were living in fields at one time. They're prisoners. So since we got into office, we built 3 buildings. We're about to complete those. And we're constructing another 3 buildings. Together, at the end of this year, hopefully they'll be completed. They should be able to accommodate 1,500 of the prisoners.
Last year, more than $3 billion was spent on the Lusiknan prison facility to allow upgrades and expansion. The project is ongoing, and when it is completed, prisoners will be housed in a dormitory-style-like setting, furnished with beds and mattresses, unlike the holding bay facility.
It will be the major center for hosting prisoners. But we want to change things too. We would have a building here for the women's prisoners. We want to do a field for sports. We are building an academic school, so every prisoner has to go to classes. We're building a trade school there. So a lot of that sort of environment, so that when you put people in prison, there is a serious attempt at reformation.
The Lusiknan prison is expected to have a large building subdivided into prison cells at lots 4 to 6. Upgrades to the facility will also accommodate a female prison, which will see the relocation of female prisoners from the New Amsterdam jail. Additionally, works on the prison's vocational school is near completion, the Vice President said. The head of the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, James Singh, has revealed that there are several Guyanese who are currently under investigation in other territories for cocaine smuggling and other drug-related crimes. Speaking to reporters on Saturday during a destruction exercise for seized cocaine and marijuana, Mr. Singh explained that while in some cases there are joint investigations between Guyana and other countries, he wants to see persons face local justice first before being extradited.
Well, I'm not going to get into specific names. There are a number of joint investigations ongoing in terms of persons who've had a history with narcotics and who are, for want of a better word, wanted in other territories for questioning links to narcotics. But the aim right now is all too often persons have been extradited or it's been seen as weak prosecution. We want to go after the persons linked to narcotics here in Guyana, put them before our court system, and then afterwards, whomever has an interest in them, after they've served their sentence, then that can be explored.
The Kandu head said he believes there must be confidence in the local justice system, and that is the reason why he wants to see drug traffickers face the courts locally on criminal charges before they are extradited to other countries to face similar charges.
We want to send a strong message that the government is serious about fighting narcotics within Guyana, and also Guyana will not be used as a transshipment point for narcotics to other territories.
Singh also said while there is a perception that Kanu is only going after some people, he wants drug pushers to know that no one is untouchable and that a drug enforcement agency will go after anyone who flouts the country's drug laws.
Again, last year would have shown that we had several seizures and arrested and put before the court several persons who have been linked to narcotics over 20 to 30 years. They're currently before the court. While I wouldn't label anyone as big fish, it just demonstrates that no one is untouchable, regardless of who you are or what position you think you hold.
Over the weekend, the Anti-Narcotics Agency destroyed over 1,000 pounds of marijuana and more than 300 pounds of cocaine. 37-year-old taxi driver Delon Josiah, also known as Milo, was shot dead execution style while asleep in his Perseverance East Bank Demerara home on Saturday night. Police investigators are on the hunt for two suspects. A police report of the incident said the attack took place at around 9:45 on Saturday night. Josiah had already retired to bed. His wife and a friend were sitting on the patio of the flat house when two masked men who were armed with guns appeared in the yard asking about a taxi driver's whereabouts. Holding the two women at gunpoint, the investigators said the men forced the two women into the house. One of the gunmen opened the door where Josiah was resting, and on seeing him, both gunmen opened fire. They ran from the house after carrying out the execution and escaped into the dark of the night. Emergency services were summoned, but it was too late. The taxi driver was pronounced dead at the scene, and an examination of his body revealed that he was shot at least 4 times. The police said 4 spent shells were also discovered at the scene. The investigation into the brazen attack is underway. News source understands that the taxi driver and his wife only moved into the area a few months ago. The home execution shocked the East Bank Demerara housing community. Police investigators are combing through security camera footage from the area as they gather information on the possible assailants. The probe is ongoing tonight. Let's tell you now that 2 police constables and another man are under investigation after they were busted early this morning with a quantity of cocaine and marijuana. Several rounds of live ammunition were also discovered in the car that the 3 were traveling in. According to reports, police constables Julius Cambridge and Albert Beresford were passengers in a Toyota Alliant motorcar being driven by Sheldon Benjamin at around 2:30 this morning. The car was stopped at the police roadblock at Cove and John on the east coast of Demerara. A search of the vehicle revealed several small packages of cocaine and large parcels of marijuana stashed in a travel bag. Police officers also discovered several live rounds of 9mm ammunition. The 3 men were immediately arrested and taken to the nearby police station where they were booked for the crime of possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking and unlawful possession of ammunition. A full investigation is underway tonight.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor of the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread, rotisserie chicken, and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true, or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyana Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, Puerto Rico has announced that it plans to privatize electricity generation, a first for U.S. territory facing chronic power outages as it struggles to rebuild a crumbling electric grid. The move marks the beginning of the end for Puerto Rico's Electric Power Authority, which has long been accused of corruption, mismanagement, and inefficiency. Many Puerto Ricans, already irate and fatigued by power outages, were wary of the announcement, given that serious complaints about the length of outages, costly power bills, and other issues across the island have been discussed for months. One official said that the Public-Private Partnership Authority said the Board of Directors unanimously approved the privatization of generation, including members who represent the public's interests. It was not made known immediately which company they selected to take over the power generation for Puerto Rico. In Jamaica, a shipment of cocaine valued at more than $50 million was seized in Kingston on Saturday, in what is believed to be one of the largest drug busts in Jamaica history. The cocaine was found in a container at the Kingston Freeport Terminal in the Jamaican capital during a joint operation involving Police Narcotics Division, the Jamaican Defense Force, and the Jamaican Customs Agency. It is the third major drug find in the past 4 months in Jamaica. The police said the discovery took place at around 3 o'clock in the morning. The container was shipped from Colombia, and local law enforcement authorities believe Jamaica was not the final destination for the drugs. The police say additional details will be released soon. Approximately 2,000 pounds of cocaine, valued at more than 1.1 billion Jamaican dollars, was seized back in December, after Jamaican Defense Force intercepted go-fast boats in Jamaican waters off the coast of St. Thomas. And finally tonight, international news. The BBC reports that a pilot of the flight that crashed in Nepal did not report anything untoward as the plane approached the airport. An official said that the mountains were clear and visibility was good, adding that there was a light wind and no issue with the weather. There were 72 passengers and crew aboard the Yeti Airlines flight to the tourist town of Pokhara, which crashed on Sunday. No one is believed to have survived. It is the country's deadliest plane crash in 30 years. Today, fragments of the Yeti Airlines plane were scattered across the riverbank on both sides like pieces of a broken toy. One portion of the aircraft laid on its side, the windows still intact. A few meters away, Blue Airline seats could be seen mangled. Mobile phone footage showed the plane rolling sharply as it approached the runway of the airport. It then hit the ground in the gorge of the Sete River, just over 1 kilometer from the airport. The pilot asked for a change from the assigned runway 3 to runway 1, which was granted by the airport moments before the accident. Investigations are ongoing. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.